What is up, everybody? WAGME Capital here. Tuesday, good day in SPY. As you can see at the top left here, up 2.2%. So overall market trending up. Let's see how the day trader did. The day traders did on the chart. So slight gap up, still within yesterday's range. So nothing crazy here. Basically, starting off. Opening a little higher, but generally around the same levels. Immediately we're testing our kind of upside call triggers, not necessarily call triggers, but just the key levels that are above where we closed yesterday. And so as you can see, we start on a green cloud just from the gap up. And if you watch this channel, I mention this all the time. We want to see a test. Okay, this green cloud is based off one candle. This wasn't like an extended trend, right? Like red, but just because we gapped up from after hours and pre-market trading, we have a green cloud. So I want to see an actual sustained trend with a test before we get in here. And now, shooting star pattern, look at this volume, basically all sellers. So again, I'm like, okay, like this green trend isn't really telling me much. Strong green. Okay, so like, guys, the shape of the candle matters. So the strongest green is like this, where there's no wicks basically. Okay, so if we go, so this is like the second 15-minute candle, so it's the fourth, fifth, and sixth candles of the day on the 5-minute chart. So it's fourth, fifth, and sixth. See how these are all green, right? Like green, green, green. So this is the strongest kind of green candle you can have. It's just straight up. There's no wick, no sellers. Like, look how tiny the volume of sellers is. Same here. Look how tiny the volume of sellers is. It's not like, here, let me try to find an example of like, you see this, we wicked all the way up here, but then we closed all the way down here. So see how the sellers and buyers almost equal, even though this is a green candle. Like, what's another example? It's like a shooting star pattern that we're looking for. So something like this. See how this is green, but if you zoom in closely, there might even be more sellers than buyers. Yeah, see, even though this is a green candle, more sellers than buyers. So the most bullish green candle is something like this. Low top wick, okay? And it's basically just a solid green bar. Low wicks, both sides. The second most bullish green candle is a hammer candle. So something like this, a big lower wick. So we got all the way down here, but then, in the back half, so like the second half of this candle. So if there's a 15-minute candle, we open here, maybe the first 5 minutes are down halfway, second 5 minutes are down halfway, then the last 5 minutes are all the way back up here, something like that. So that means like just the timing, the buyers really stepped in here in the back half of the candle. And so like the momentum is really strong in an upward and like bullish way. Third would just be like this, or, something like this, just like, it's not a hammer. It's not a huge, strong green candle, just like your regular. And then the least is this like shooting star pattern. Okay. So like this, imagine if this was green though. So like something kind of like this. I know we just went over an example. It's like this. See how like sellers, this is the opposite of a hammer, right? We start here, we push all the way up here, and then even though this is green, like the sellers push down and the momentum is down. So just quick little recap of why like this is pretty bearish. Like shooting star red, I'm like, okay, this is like not good. Then this is like, I'm good. This is good. Unsure, good again. So now I'm like, okay, after these 4 candles, first hour of trading, I'm like, all right, uptrend is on. Here we go. Like, cloud is thick right here. It's tiny. Here it's tiny. Here it's tiny. And then with this one, you're like, all right, thick cloud uptrend. Here we go. So let me just mark that. Wait, oops. Firms uptrend for me. Okay, so now we know it's on, and once we're in a trending market, if you guys follow me, you know what is up. So here, okay, at first glance, decent entry, but again, we talk about this a lot, decent entry, but outside candles can signal a reversal, so be careful. Okay, because we've seen before. I should come up with like a list of times and dates to go back to and show you guys. But basically, like we're trending up. We want a red candle so that premiums become cheap. We can buy them cheap, like buy low and then sell high. So like if you buy it here, that's no good. You want to buy it down here and then sell up here. But this outside candle makes me a little cautious. So I probably wouldn't have bought on this candle. I would have waited for one more. And so I would have waited for this candle. This is a better entry. Okay, one. Here, let's see this. So one inside candle means sideways movement. Okay, here, let's see this. Sorry. Better entry inside candle meaning one, slowing momentum of bears, two, decaying option premiums, three, uptrend continues. Okay, so I see this outside candle and I'm like, okay, are we in for a reversal? Like, we just confirmed the uptrend. We've been in a downtrend for a long, long time, right? Like days. I mean, if we zoom out to the daily chart, like weeks, months. But, day to day, it's different. But here I'm like, okay, uptrend. Then here I'm like, oh man, was this a false breakout? Like, are we going to go back down? But then this inside candle. So I probably wouldn't have bought on this. I did not buy on this outside candle, but I'm keeping an eye because I'm like, okay, if we go down, I kind of want to see a test. Like this is our kind of first test, right? That's what we talk about a lot. But this, I'm like, okay, boom, enter here. So here's like the same thing as before. So same thing. And then here I entered on this candle actually. So I entered here. So, I took small position here on test of cloud. I wasn't 100% confident because of outside red, but wanted to give the uptrend a chance. Okay, so does that make sense? This outside candle, again, same as this, it could be a good entry. We got to the cloud, it held. But think of it like live, like you don't know what's going to happen. We reach the top, it's this huge outside candle, right? We open here and we go all the way down to here. And you're like, whoa, okay, outside candle, like red, this one's all the way down to here. Like, there's nothing in me that's 100% sure, like this is going to go back up, right? We've seen really, really strong trends where this isn't an outside candle. It's just, some candle like this, it's just some pedestrian candle. And I'm like, okay, here's, classic reentry. Let's get in. Seen this a million times. This outside candle, I always have like high alert because outside candles are tricky. They can be beginning of reversals. Then this wicks all the way down to here. So I was still like, hey, we confirmed, we had a red, like our first test, maybe a half test. It held. So this is kind of, another half test, call it. So now I'm like, okay, we survived two outside candles. We're good. But that's why I wasn't 100% confident because this outside candle gives me pause. And then also like, we haven't truly tested the cloud, right? This was our first test. And so that's where I'm like, okay, I feel good about this. Then we get into, I'm just going to circle, like, I set a stop loss. I got stopped out. On this candle, I'm pretty sure. But this is just low volume, low volatility, afternoon trading, no real moves / gains to be had. Okay, so this, every day this happens. Look at the volume. So this is the first candle of the day. So it's always pretty high and then it drops off. This was a big outside candle. So like, I'm assuming just some trapped traders here, right? Because we had basically, moved sideways, it moved a little up and then, people selling off here. Something must have got triggered where just the volume was higher. But then here, like, look how low this volume is and there's no real moves. Like, we're in an uptrend. I don't know if I'm sniping the top off this candle alone. Like there's kind of high volume, so maybe, but you know, then this is like a hammer candle and you're like, okay, you know, cloud's going to hold. Here we go. We're going back up. But then you get outside candle down, shooting star candle down, and you're like, ooh, maybe we're heading down. You know, we broke below the cloud. But then we just push back up. Like cloud is just really thin. There's no real movements. Could have like taken lotto puts. They're not lotto. They're just like flyer puts. So one followed outside red candle, two closed below the cloud, and then three shooting star pattern. Okay, so like, you know, I didn't, but if you were feeling risky, your risk tolerance was high, or like you were just wanting to take a flyer, you could have been like, hey, you know, I'm just going to try to snipe this. Cloud is going to reverse. Let's just take a flyer here. Flyer meaning like not a normal size position. I'm not 100% confident on this. Let's just put like, I don't know, if your normal position size is $100, let's put in something for like 10 or 20. It's just low, but you know what? If I snipe it at the top here, and this just the bottom falls out, then that 20 can turn into like 100, 200% gain or something like that, right? Where it's just kind of like low risk, but you know, potentially could be high reward. I didn't do that, but like, just look, the cloud's really thin. You know, we're basically moving sideways. Like if we move here, I'd be, here, I think I had the 30-minute, but like, right, like, okay, so we open here at 9 o'clock, okay, and we close here at 11 o'clock. So 2 hours of basically, what is this, $1.50 range. This is 424. This is 422.50. So within $1.50 for 2 hours. Like there just wasn't a ton of movement. And then, you know, like a solid uptrend upwards to end the day. So let's just move that down here. So yeah, that's kind of what I saw today, guys. Like I had, again, I just had one small trade. You don't want to force it on a day like today. I mean, nothing wrong with today. Look, there were times, definitely trades to be had. Like I don't think this was like just a throwaway day where we just move sideways or as chop or anything like that. Like if you look at, sorry, my computer is freezing. Like if you look in general, like it's an uptrend. Like you can see it, right? Like it's not super clean, but like, you know, I mean, that's what it is. But to me, I like taking super high confidence plays. Like I like A+ setups. I'm not trying to take flyers like this. I don't like to trade on this candle. I like to trade on this one. So yeah, if you traded on this candle, your profits are higher, but like you might have gotten faked out. Like maybe you were trying to snipe the top and you bought puts, or maybe here you bought, you know, calls because you were super confident. And in that case, you would have done well, but maybe, you know, another time, like it just would have broken down and you would have lost when I wouldn't have entered. Just something like that. So everyone has different trading styles. Mine isn't right. Yours isn't right. Neither's wrong. They're just different. I'm talking through my strategy and how I trade. And so hopefully that's helpful for you guys. But I just want to give you the overview of SPY. You guys like layer your own trading strategy and philosophies over that. But again, like I'm looking for really high confidence plays. This to me was one. This to me right here, buying on this wick, not high confidence, but turned out okay. Like there just were a ton of, you know, I didn't trade last week, so I wasn't checking the chart super closely, but I know we've had days, right? And this is just, hopefully this works out. And I can just find one really, really quickly, but like here, what's a day like? I don't know, something like this, right? Like where, I don't know. See this downtrend, it's just like anytime it was green, just buy. This cloud is thick, we're moving down. Like this is just a clear, like no ifs, ands, or buts about it. Downtrend, right? Not the greatest example, but my point is just like, see these green, like this one's outside, but like this, nothing scary. I mean, this was just like a wick. This is like a wick. Whereas again, like, you know, just these outside candles gave me a little pause, but I'm rambling. But yeah, this, I mean, this was SPY today. So, good day for the market overall, but let's clear this out and I will stop just rambling and we can get on to the charting for tomorrow. So let's clear all this stuff out. And you know what? I want to start by, let's zoom out and just look at what's been going on. So I have this white trend line drawn. You know, line up to the week. I mean, okay, the weekly is like really, really steep. But yeah, I mean, basically we hit the top at like 480 and this is what's been going on. So this week's an inside week, but it's only been 2 days. So, are we going to hit and reject this trend line? Are we going to keep going down? Like, what do we think is going to happen? So I'm always kind of thinking about this. I don't go into a day bias. I'm not like looking at today, like, oh, tomorrow puts only, like, we're going to reject this trend line and move down. But like, I'm just always keeping that in mind, right? It's just something to know. Like, it's just another piece of information that you can use to your advantage. Excuse me. But so this is kind of unfortunately what we're looking at. I think I tweeted about this yesterday, but you can see from the top, this is like, if this was our 15-minute chart, what would we think? Like, pretty thick here. Gets thin here, but like we're on a downtrend, right? Like you can see the white line. It's choppy, but that's what it is. But so, hopefully we can just, again, I say this a lot, but for the sake of the market, like we want the market to go up, right? Like I own stocks, like just long-term that I'm holding, not day trading, like in a separate portfolio. I'm generally long, like just for the state of like our country, our economy, people's jobs, and like just stuff like that. Like, it's good for the S&P and the markets to go up if that like, makes sense. But again, on a day-to-day, like, I'm taking profits both ways and you guys are, I hope, as well. So we're not going to go in bias here. So let's see, we're just going to chart some levels. It's been a little choppy. Right. So I think I've been setting a little too tight of levels. So let's like just take some real like serious highs and lows here. So I kind of like this one because we had some confirmation here and confirmation here. Let's take the bottom here. So this is like the bottom of the day. You know what? Let's do this real quickly. Let's see. Okay, so you see how like this is the definite bottom. This is the bottom here. Like on the hourly chart, it really lines up. Here, we get a little bounce. So I don't want to do. I don't want to have too many. Let's look like something like this. Okay, so. This was the wick off today. This was the low of today, effectively. This is where we saw some hesitation today. So like, we could do something like this, but I'm just not seeing, you know what? Okay, let's throw this up. Okay, that'll be it. So this is kind of, we open here, push all the way up, fall down here. This is the low. We bounce, hesitate here, retrace to it. We get to the top. Like if you just look at this up, down, up in general, right? We start here, we go up to here, down, back to here, and then up. So that's what this is, right? Hopefully that makes sense. So I like this to the downside. I don't want too many. And you know what? We've been kind of choppy. Like, look, we're down post market. So, we might open here. We might open in this range. But I think that's enough. 429, just clearly looking here, that's like the top. So we get like the top of today. Okay, what do I see? I see this as being like a shelf, right here and right here. This is kind of the top. So let me just chart this real fast. So this is kind of like the top of today. There's a little bounce here. There's some rejection of it here. There's movement around here, and it's like the top here. Okay, so I like that. And then, that's kind of it. I think let's just try to keep it a little cleaner than we have been. you know what? I don't even like this level, but we're going to keep it and then look out for 431. Again, chart intraday levels, like know that 430, it's a big round number. Keep that in mind. But that's what we're going to go with for tomorrow. Keep in mind as well, guys, just like this white trend line, I can't give you like exact coordinates. I don't know. Just like you guys have TradingView or some other charting software and platform, just know like I'm looking for the top. So like January 4th, we got up to 480, and then I'm just kind of drawing, I'm just eyeballing it. There's no exact sites to this, but like, right. You know, maybe it should be something more like this. You know, I don't know. But this is kind of what I'm drawing, right? We have some outliers, like we broke it here, you know, broke it here, but in general, this is kind of the trend line I'm looking at. So keep that in mind for tomorrow as well. You know, hope we did well today. Good to be back second day this week after taking last week off. But I hope you guys learned something, and we'll see you tomorrow.